Hey everybody. Excuse my fingers there. Let's try that. That's on. Yeah. How's it going, I guess I'm looking right there. Yeah. I'm trying this on my phone. Setup facing me. It's kind of weird. Hopefully, it doesn't seem too strange. Um. So I today was the first. Let's bring you a little closer here. Today was the first Saturday of the month, which means that one of my favorite comic hunting spots, Red River Bookshop, their upstairs was open up. Um, so went early afternoon and spent, oh, I don't know, I think we were there for almost 2 hours total. Just really digging through the books, looking through all the bins. There was boxes underneath the bins. There was shelves of books. There was stacks of comics here and there. There was stacks of comics leading up the stairway. There really is just stuff all over the place, um, which is it's good and bad, right? It always feels like there's stacks that I'm missing that I should be looking through. So I really tried to hit as much of it as I could up there and really go through stuff. Um, found some found some great stuff. The first thing, I don't know, maybe not the first thing I'll talk about. Maybe we'll just do that first. I was going to talk a little bit about the Back Issue Club because I managed to find some books uh, that Adam had talked about in his recent Dr. Monkeybot live video. Um, the the first meeting of Back Issue Club, I'm hoping. I've spoken to Larasa about it. It's not so much her schedule as it is mine. My wife leaves for Korea on Monday to go work the Olympics with CBC. So it just depends on the schedule. What times I have available is the only thing kind of holding us back. So we're hoping this next Saturday at some point, probably afternoon for us here, Central Standard Time, to kind of have the first kind of meeting of our version of the Back Issue Club. It'll just be the two of us for now because we're going to be talking about books that so far just the two of us have read. Again, the whole idea of this Back Issue Club is everybody can join in, no matter who you are, no matter what. Just kind of follow a few of our videos and kind of see what we're all kind of reading at the same time. I'll try to post things on Twitter. I'm going to try to do kind of an official kind of Back Issue Club listing, so we can kind of get a list of books or mini series that people are reading and kind of give us all a chance to read them together and then have a live hangout where we all kind of sit and talk about them. So the ones we're going to be focusing on, we'll probably end up talking about Miss Tree because I know that she's a couple issues into that. But the one that we're going to be focusing on is the ESPers that both of us are reading. She's read the first two volumes. I'm almost done the second volume, so that's going to be kind of the main focus. Um, I don't know. I guess I'm on the thread now, so why don't I start about it now? So Dr. Monkeybot had talked about some stuff in his video, and there was a couple of titles that jumped out at me as far as there were ones that I was kind of interested in just by hearing him talk. One of these I have read the kind of intro to it already in a magazine, but I jumped on it. I saw that he'd picked up a couple issues, and I found some today. And it's funny because a couple of the things that he was talking about, it's like I know that I've seen those at Red River Bookshop. And lo and behold, going and checking it out, of course, I found them there. It just seems like, I've said it before, it just seems like it's the place here in town for me personally that when I'm looking for a title, uh, that's the place to go and check out. He seems to have everything there, which is great. So the first one that I found, they had about 5 issues total, but I only picked up three because they're numbers 1, 2, and 3. The other ones were like number 16, number 18, and something along those lines, like much later. So I just wanted to get the first couple in a row just to kind of give it a shot. I think they were about $1 a piece, something like that, dollar 50 a piece. It's the series Coyote by Englehart and Lealoa. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Epic Comics. So that's issue number 1 that I managed to find. And, whoop, sorry, dropping things here. Let's move that over there. Put this over there. Issue number 1, issue number 2, and issue number 3 of Coyote. So I'm really looking forward to it. The one-off story that I did read, I really liked. I was surprised how much I liked it. It had just some interesting elements with it. So I'll probably reread that and dig into these as well too, just to give myself a sense of the story. Again, it feels like it's one of those series that I'm going to be able to find for next to nothing, so I'm not too worried about it. I just think that oh hey, Shannon, I remember you remember Coyote from back in the day. Really cool title. I'm glad to hear it. I'm brand new to it. I just read the one story, and it just feels like it's going to be one of those titles that I go to one of the mini conventions and find like a bundle of like 20 issues, kind of like what happened with Ms. Tree for me, for dirt cheap. So it just feels like that's going to be one of them. The other one that Adam had that I was kind of taken right away by the cover and some of the art that he showed, but especially the covers. Released by Comico, and it's a 3-issue miniseries, and I managed to find all 3, which is why I picked it up, was this Silverback. He was saying it somehow ties into Grendel. I don't know Grendel. Like, I know the character. I don't know the books. I've never read the books. Hopefully it doesn't tie in too much where I'm not going to know what the hell's going on. But, again, it was one of those things. It was so cheap. If it does, it's not the end of the world. The art, the covers, I really, really like the covers. So there's issue number 1. Issue number 2 of Silverback. I believe issue 11 of Coyote is McFarlane's first Comic World. Really, is that true? Hey, crazy. That kind of sucks, because I'm sure that'll be really easy and cheap to find. And then Silverback number 3. Great. Again, great cover. Um, and then the final one, he showed, he was talking a bit about manga, and I'm about the same. I know some manga. I'm not huge into it. There's some series that I really like, but Viz usually does some good stuff. Viz usually does some really good stuff, and these were in beautiful condition. These cost me about, I think these were like $5 a piece for me, but they're thick, kind of square bound, almost graphic novel-ish. Especially issue 3 is even thicker than the first 2. Um, the title, it looked great. He kind of talked a little bit about the art, and it just kind of really piqued my interest. Some sci-fi stuff. It's 2001 Nights. This was buried. Comico put out some nice titles. Elementals remains one of my favorite books. Yeah, I remember seeing you writing that on, I think it was Ed just did a video recently, or not too long ago, about one of the Elementals issues. And it's funny, it's a title that I see all over the place as well. Elementals always pops up, and again, it's one of those that are really, really cheap when I see them. So I might give that a shot, like kind of pick up the first 5 issues or something and see how that goes. So 2001 Nights, issue number 1. And issue number 2. And you can see, maybe you can see there kind of the thickness of them. It's a pretty solid volume, so even though $5 a piece, it's not so bad. I kind of take it as a bit of a write-off, because when I went down to pay for everything, he ended up giving me like $25 off. So it's kind of like I got a bunch of books for free, buying some books and getting some for free. And then this is issue number 3 of 2001 Nights. So I'm really excited about this one. He had another sci-fi title, and I don't remember what it was. I thought I wrote it down somewhere. Oh, yes, I did. Mecha was the other one that he had mentioned, and that one I didn't write it down in my phone, so it completely slipped my mind to look for it. So yeah, that's 2001 Nights. The other thing I'll say is one of the books that he did end up picking up. So I guess at some point it would be great to talk to Adam about this as well too, or include him in the conversations with Larasa and myself. He did pick up a few issues of this interface, and another book that he had that I already had in the collection was this Dark Horse one shot, War World, which I just read the other night. Huge kind of Mobius, as he was saying too, a huge Mobius influence in this one. Really, really great little story, really nice kind of simple line art with minimal backdrops in some of the panels. Um, the story wasn't kind of, mind blowing as far as like I've never read anything like that before. It's pretty kind of standard fare, but the art is just beautiful, and the fact that it's a one shot was great as well too. So those are kind of the titles in back issue clubs so far. Um, and again, I've said to Larasa, I've said to Johnny DaCosta, and anybody else who's interested. Obviously, everybody is more than welcome, and anybody is more than welcome to put stuff forward. Um, Even if it's a longer series, even if we all kind of decide on, for example, just taking Elementals just for an example, if we decided we wanted to give it a shot and people managed to find the first 5 issues, it's probably a low commitment at that point to kind of just dive in, and we can talk about the few issues, and if people decide to stick with it, all that kind of stuff. I mean, the whole kind of impetus in all this is to just really enjoy the comics that we have in our collection. I mean, it's great to have the new books and everything, but I'm sure that I'm not the only one that just has back issues, and you just don't always get the time to kind of enjoy the back issues. Um, so that's the whole point to this, is to try to have everybody digging into their back issue bins, and pulling out some stuff that maybe they've read a long time ago and want to revisit, or have just been in the pile that they can't. Yeah, they really are cheap. It's true. They're really, really cheap. I think the ones I saw today were probably listed like $1.50 each. But again, those were in bins where the more you buy, the more of a discount he's going to give you. So it ends up, if you buy a stack of them, you're probably paying like 50 cents, 75 cents a book. So yeah, just the enjoyment of what you have back issue wise. And then the rest of the books I got. So that's it for Back Issue Club. Again, feel free to message me, friend me on Twitter, send me a message on Twitter. Let's see who's all into this, and let's start talking books. Um, so as I know a number of us are doing, because I've seen a few videos about it, I have an ongoing list. I have the photos actually on my phone. Um, Sleepy Reader was talking about the website just recently, and the website now, its name is kind of escaped me. But he was talking about just kind of searching through the newsstand section, where you could kind of see what came out in what month of what year. I have a stack of birthday, quote unquote, birthday comics. So stuff that was released in April 1973. I managed to find one of them. I'm sure there was more. Just my focus was on other places. It's just he had a lot of this particular title, and I know that it was one that I was needing for my April 1973 collection. And lo and behold, it was there, and I think it was $3 or something. Ripley's Believe It or Not. Of course, the issue number is on the inside, and I can't remember, was it 40 or something like that? So there's a good, a fantastic gold key painted cover. Ripley's Believe It or Not. So yeah, another addition to the birthday comics list. I think I've probably got about, oh geez, I don't know, at least 20 of them at this point, which is great because the only time I buy the ones that are specific for that collection, because some of them are kind of, obviously they're all older issues. They kind of vary in price, so if they're cheap enough, I buy them. If I'm looking at like 10 or 12 bucks, especially if it's a title I don't normally collect, I usually let those ones slide until I can find a much cheaper version. Um, Something else that I'm starting to it's kind of on my radar lately. My love of all things the Spectre and Deadman. Again, I've got this story reprinted, but this issue, it was in really nice shape and it was cheap, so I grabbed it. Adventure Comics number 431 with a fantastic Spectre cover there. Just love that stuff. And again, like I've read all these stories in my, I think it's a 4-issue miniseries of Wrath of Spectre, but yeah, I love having these issues just to add to that collection. So that's a beautiful copy. Another one, again, I'm only buying when I see it if the price is right and the condition is right. He had a few of these, probably 3 of the series, but the other 2 were in really rough shape. One had part of the cover ripped off, and even though it was really cheap, I do want it complete. And I love, 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 love this cover so much. The colors are fantastic. It's Secret Six, number 2. Beautiful cover. I absolutely, there's something about this era of DC, the way they utilize the whole front cover. As much as I like the Marvel picture frame stuff, I really like that style. This DC stuff has really appealing to me lately. Every time I see these older DC books, like the 12 centers and stuff, they're just incredible the way they use the page, and I love the art on this cover here. So yeah, now I have 2 of issues, issue 2 and issue 3. It'll be a collection that I'll slowly, it'll be a series rather that I slowly collect, because again, the price has to be right, because some of them that I've seen have been pretty pricey. Another addition to the Concrete series. This is part 4 of the Fragile Creature 4-parter. So now I have number 1 and 4. The Concrete collection is really growing as well too, which is great. We have a mini convention coming up in March, I believe, that I'll be selling at as well. But my hopes are to kind of put a big dent in this Concrete collection and start reading those, since I've heard so much. Finishing a mini series for me, finally finding issue number 4 of Revenge of the Prowler. I knew it would turn up sooner or later. I keep seeing issues number 1, 2, and 3 all over the place, but never 4. Something told me that upstairs in the magical world of Red River Bookshop, this was going to pop up, and lo and behold, there it was, some Timothy Truman action. More along the manga tip from Viz. Miyazaki, love Miyazaki's films. Nausicaa of the Valley of Wind. This is volume 2 or part 2, issue number 2. And these are kind of square bound books as well too. I only have 1 issue from from I guess chapter 1. I don't really know. So this is chapter 2, issue 2. The Spectre series and adventure was also a favorite, and wow, that issue of Secret Six I first read as a reprint in Brave and the Bold. Nice, yes. I've just heard so many good things about the Secret Six series. I think the last person that really was like pushing it, Scott Bromstar, probably, geez, what was that? A year ago at least, maybe 2 years ago now. I don't even know how long. He was really, there was a video where he was really pushing it and really like, guys, seriously, this is an incredible series. There's not that many issues, and he kind of showed the covers, and I was really taken by the covers. So when they've started showing up for me now, all of a sudden, it just seems like, yeah, I should really get that. Because it's what, Shannon? Is it only like an 8-issue thing? Is it a 10? Is it? I think it's only minimal though, isn't it? 6 or 8, I want to say. Another Nausicaa from chapter 2, issue number 3 from chapter 2. And then issue number 4. Yeah, 6 issues, thank you. And then issue number 4 from chapter 2. And then just the last couple of things. Actually, I'll talk about these quickly. Through Facebook, I've been in all these comic clubs. I did get a couple of issues in the mail recently. One of them being another issue of The Losers. I think this is like a $2 win or $3 win. This is number 134. A killer cover there. and a What If featuring Daredevil and Captain America. Again, getting everything involving some of my favorite characters that I'm collecting, so that'll go to the Daredevil box. Um, channeling Mr. DaCosta. Batlash is another short run from that era in DC that I really love. Yeah, Batlash I've heard you talk about, and I think I've heard one or two other people talk about as well too. Um, DaCosta has been talking about horror magazines. This was the only one like it I saw. Unfortunately, when I brought it back, the I should have looked at it when I was there. I didn't. I don't know. Maybe it's better because I'm glad that I bought it anyway. The back cover, it's ripped pretty severely. It's not completely off, but it is ripped. But this is from June 1980. I think it was like when I was entering it into the CLZ app. I think it was like volume 14 or something like that of a horror magazine called Weird. Startling and shocking tales. Weird. He's been posting a few photos, and I know that Garrett Comic Guy Rules has posted stuff like this before, and I've always loved these colors on these covers. They really kind of just stand out. So this was the only one that they had of this. They had a couple of eerie and creepy magazines as well, but this was the only one of these that they had there. So again, price was right, so I snatched it up. And then finally, to kind of end off, um, I bought some humanoid stuff from him before last year at some point, early in the year. Maybe it was around this time last year, maybe. Um, Upstairs on, he's got all the bookshelves and stuff, and he has stuff like Lucky Luke. He's got Asterix. He's got a bunch of French publications as well too. But he also has a nice, tidy little stack of humanoids that's English, and these were $10 a piece, which is fine considering usually when I see humanoid stuff, it's pretty pricey. Even the cover price on these when they first came out is $14.95 US, which is pushing kind of $20. Is CLZ worth it? I tried using the UPC scanner and it recognized nothing. Yeah, I've used the UPC scanner for newer books. Hello, by the way. I've used the UPC scanner for newer books and I haven't had a problem. I usually just end up typing in the title and just going from there. It is really difficult. Some of the stuff, especially some of the weird shit I collect, there have been titles in there that just don't exist. And I know that there's a function where you can upload the titles yourself. For the most part, though, I really like it. I did buy it for the phone, so I do have the app. And it was fairly cheap from what I remember. And then just recently, I tried a month free version of it on my computer, so I could sync the phone with the computer. Using the using that part of the app on the laptop is a lot easier to kind of navigate. On the phone, it can be a little difficult, but just to have that list and have the covers as well, especially when it comes to wish lists, you can kind of go by what the cover looks like when you're kind of digging through the bins. I really like it. I know that there's other apps out there, but this one is just the one that I've used for the longest time. I've had a lot of success. The only thing with the app is that I don't always remember to update it. So recently I've been really going through and like really editing the whole list because there was, I don't know, I probably deleted about 200 or 300 titles from it just the other night because it's stuff that I've sold now, and had to add a whole bunch of stuff too. So that's still a bit of a process, but I'm just trying to make that part of the routine. I come home with comics, I just kind of check them out, put them in new bags, make sure that I go right to the app first and just add them to the app so I can have an up-to-date list. I find it really helps with stuff like for Concrete, for example, where there's so many mini series. It makes it a little difficult to add the stories or add the actual issues because each mini series has its own listing. Um, but it also helps because there's all these mini series. When it comes time to do some digging and finding a stack of them, it makes it easier to find stuff. So anyway, holy shit, that was a lot. Uh, I'm sure more than answers your question. So anyway, so humanoids, usually it's pretty expensive. This is Ship of Stone. And again, they're these nice, yeah, no problem, anytime. I'm here to help. These nice hard covers, like band designated type of style. This one looks incredible. I mean, let's be honest, as they all do. It's kind of a look at the art in there. And I've said it a million times before, and I'll say it a million times. I really like, I really like the format. I really like the size of these books, just to really be able to appreciate the art. I mean, look at that page. It's just fucking incredible, man. Um, yeah, so this one seems to have dealings with some sort of ghostly ship that has a bunch of zombie type creatures, as you can see there. Look at that bottom panel. That's amazing. Those colors are incredible. Um, yeah, so that's a great one. I'm really looking forward to that one. And then he had, I think, 5 or 6 volumes of this one. I just bought the volume number 1 first, just to give it a try. But it is Jodorowsky, so I have a feeling I'm going to enjoy it. It's a series that I have heard a little bit. 9 a.m. hockey game. Thank you very much for tuning in. Appreciate it. Um, the White Llama, book 1, The First Step. So Jodorowsky and somebody named Bess. What's the first name? Blah, blah, blah. Just says Bess. Anyway, I'm sure it's in there somewhere, but I just can't see it right now. So, The White Llama. I've never read it. I have seen collected editions of it, but again, when I do, they're always just fucking ridiculously expensive for this shit. So $10 for a book, I'm fine with that. With the opening of Single Flower comes springtime for the entire world. Really looking forward to this one. I've been thinking a lot about Jodorowsky lately. Um, and just, I could really use some of his kind of positivity. Uh, Not that I'm depressed or anything, but it's just he has such a unique way of talking about things and a view of the world that it really works for me. So I'm really looking forward to these ones. Yeah, I mean, I've got a fair collection now of these kind of humanoids that I've found all for really cheap, so I'm excited about that. 2 of those suckers. And like I said, if I do like it, I know exactly where to go to get the rest of them. That's it, friends and neighbors. Thanks very much for joining me. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for commenting. It seemed to work okay with this phone here. Back Issue Club, Back Issue Club, Back Issue Club. Anybody wants in. I've always found that comics are much better than drugs for depression. It's very true. Absolutely. Um, Anybody wants in, please talk. Tuning in late and see folks talking about Coyote. Were you guys talking the Steve Englehart thing? If so, it was great. Hey, Ed, how the hell are you, man? It's nice that you joined us. I'll go back to it just briefly. And yes, it was the Englehart. Just found the first 3 issues of the Epic Comics run today. And Adam, Dr. Monkey Bot, had found some as well, too. So I'm hoping there's a few of us that will be picking it up and kind of reading it together and have a chance to talk about it on some live hangouts. I also have the story in, was it in Eclipse magazine? Now, because this was Epic, I want to say that it was an issue of Epic magazine. I don't quite remember, but I do remember really liking it. So I'm looking forward to digging into those, and I have heard that it's a great series, so it should be a fun read. Again, just to wrap it up, Back Issue Club, Back Issue Club, Back Issue Club. Everybody should be reading back issues. Not that you don't. I'm just saying. Let's all read something together. Let's all have something instead of the new comics. Let's all have something that we can kind of chat about, or a bunch of things we can chat about. Thanks very much for joining me. Ed, it was nice to see you, even though you're here at the end. Go back and watch the whole thing. All right, guys, we'll talk to you.